Hi and welcome to this video tutorial brought to you by Crown Point Design. This is the first of a series of tutorials based around how to use WordPress effectively and the features and functionality available inside of WordPress for beginner to intermediate users. Today we're going to look specifically at creating blog posts and how to create posts in the back end of WordPress and some of the functionality available there. So if I switch over to our sample blog that we're going to be using, this is a blog that we created based around food recipes and food critics and how to make different things and all that kind of good stuff. So we're basically using the latest version of WordPress, and we've got a custom theme that we've modified in here. And right on our home page is where we keep our blogs. So our home page, as you can see as I scroll down, is a whole list of different blog posts. So what we're going to do now is look over into the back end of WordPress, where I've already logged in, and you can see that this is the dashboard that you get to after logging into the back end of WordPress. And we're looking at creating posts. So over in the left-hand navigation, we click on posts, and we see that there's a list of posts that come up. You can see that if I scroll over any one of these posts, if I zoom in a little bit here, you can see that there's a sub-navigation that drops down that allows me to edit that post. I can trash it, I can view it. It shows me the author of any given post, and it shows me the categories that it belongs in, and any tags that we've put in for the posts as they relate to search. So there's two ways to start creating a new post. Over in the left-hand navigation under Posts, there's this link for Add New. There's also a button up here in Posts called Add New. Both of these do the exact same thing. So by clicking on either one of these, I'm brought to the Post page. If I zoom back out here, this is the the beginning of creating a new post. So we're going to create a sample post here today, and I've got some content to drop in. But let's create a title first, and let's create something called How to Make Bruschetta. And I've got some content to drop into the body here. But one important thing to point out is that the body area is actually a flexible field that you can make larger or smaller. So a lot of times when you first opened it, you might see a very small window to enter the body. Just know that you can expand that by the bottom right hand corner, dragging here, so that you can have a bigger surface area to work with. So let me paste in my content here. I've basically got some steps for making this great bruschetta recipe, and I am going to just format this a little bit. And another thing to note is the table here for managing the post has a very word-like WYSIWYG editor. So I can make things bold, italicize things, ordered lists, numbered lists, mess with the font in a lot of ways. And if I scroll over any of these different items, just by scrolling over with my mouse, WordPress will tell me what they are. So a lot of these you may not be familiar with. Simply roll over them, and you can find out. A lot of times when you log into WordPress, you might just see this one bar of icons. In order to view both bars, there's this thing right on the right hand side that says show/hide kitchen sink, and if I show that, it shows me all of the icons that I can use. So let me do one thing that I like to do, is just to make a couple of these numbers bold. Maybe I could change the color if I wanted to, but I'm simply just going to do some pretty basic formatting to this post. And in here, if I wanted to, I could make something italic, and I could also create a link. If I wanted to create a link, what I would do is highlight that text, and I would scroll over to this Insert Link tool. You can see a little wizard pops up here that asks us where we want to create a link. I'm going to create a link to our website, which is crownpointdesigns.com, which is completely unrelated to making bruschetta. But where I can set the target is if I want to open this link in a new window or keep it in the same window. The default is to open the link in the same window so a user's browser is not opened into a new window. I usually like to leave it as is. I can also create a title for that link, but it's already created from what I've highlighted. I'm simply going to hit insert, and you can see I've now got hypertext on here. So if I look at some of the other functionality that's presented to me in creating a post, I basically need to put this post into a category. Now, looking quickly at the front end of my WordPress blog, I've got some categories listed over here that display on the home page. So I just need to find something that fits. For the categories I've created, I would say that bruschetta is sort of an appetizer, which falls into my category that I've created called Getting Started. So I'm going to put that in one category, and I recommend putting posts in only one category for search engine purposes so that search engines don't see duplicate content as they scroll through your website. So other things that I can do is create tags for this. I can create tags that will be searchable from the front end of WordPress, and what I mean by that is on the front end I've got a search box here. So these are the terms that I want this to definitely show up in. I'm just going to create a couple real quick, and all I do is click add. Scrolling down, I've got other functionality at my disposal here. I can allow comments on this post as well as trackbacks and pinbacks. To learn more about what those are, you can simply click on this link. And then at the very bottom, I can manage the author of this post and who I want it to display as. I want it to display as Chef Scott, which is the user that I am logged into at the moment. So scrolling back up, one thing that I always recommend before publishing is you first want to save a draft of your post. That way, anything happens, you've now saved a draft. WordPress also is saving drafts on a regular basis for you. But I always recommend previewing your post as it will appear in WordPress prior to hitting the publish key. So the reason for that is because once you hit publish, it's up and live on your website. And you always want to preview it first just so that you're aware of how it's going to look in case there's any funny quirks in it. So if I click on preview, you can see that this is how this post is going to appear in WordPress. It's a very basic text-heavy post, and I've got the ability to add comments, which you can see there with the lead reply. So I'm going to say that I'm happy with this. The default settings are to publish this publicly, which means that it'll be viewable to all the users. You could also set this to private or password protected if you wanted to make this a more secure post. And you could also set a publication date. So I can set a publication date for Monday morning at 9 a.m. for this post to be automatically launched. I'm just going to leave it as they is, and I'm going to publish this post to the blog right now. So by hitting publish, WordPress is going to refresh, and the status will now change to published from draft. And if I go over to the front end of our WordPress blog, I'm simply going to refresh the page here, and you can see that the very top post is called How to Make Bruschetta, which has pushed all the other posts kind of down the list. So that's a very basic overview of how to create posts on WordPress for your blog or for your personally or for your company or however you're managing it. So look for this and more tutorials on WordPress brought to you by Crown Point Design. Thank you.